Well, so the good news is that the boards are here. Nobody stole them, they didn't fall off. The bad news is that this is Pendleton, Kentucky, pilot exit, I think 28. Well, bottom right corner, 572 kilometers. That's, you know, pretty much like 6 hours of driving, so like 360 miles roughly, right? And it's 26 Celsius. Unbelievable. I gotta start my air conditioning at 7:20 in the morning. And finally I'm off I-71. So I did a little bypass on 264. This is Louisville. And now I'm on I-65. So I shave my head. I feel much younger. I'm still 366 kilometers, pretty much 4 hours, 240 miles, and I'm just east of Bowling Green, Kentucky. And this is the end of Kentucky. The sign on the right. Welcome to Tennessee, the volunteer state. Yeah, this is I-65 in Tennessee. I just left a stop in Ardmore, exit 6. There's a truck stop there with a restaurant. And I'm getting real close. That's kilometers 108. That's 108 to my turn. 109 kilometers to my destination. But right now I'm leaving Tennessee, and the sign on the right says welcome to Sweet Home, Alabama. I'm crossing Tennessee River in Alabama. It looks huge. I'm getting close. 4 miles, 7.4 kilometers to my exit. And interestingly enough, that trailer dealer is right next to a Petro truck stop at exit 299 off I-65 in Alabama over there. Petro, exit 299, 5 miles ahead. But they are on the Petro is on this side of the interstate. The dealer is on this side.
Take the exit right, then turn left.
And this is my exit. Alright, I'm looking for a place called Equipment Logistics. Yeah, I had to turn around. I'm going back to the freeway. So it turns out I was supposed to turn onto some H&H. Yes, I'm gonna, basically there was another road, even though the address is on this highway, but the actual dealer is on H&H.
Reached your destination on your right.
Shut up! Where is it? H&H. Here we go. You see, I looked over there. Ah, Campbell Transportation, Equipment Leasing. That's what it is. What is this? Oh, okay. You see, this is real tricky. It's this way, I think. Yeah, that's over there. Oh wait, this is Dorsey. Oh, this one is Dorsey. That's Fontaine. Fontaine magnitude. Yeah, I think it's this one. This one is mine, I think. Well, this is it. The guy who sold me the trailer is not even here. And turns out the guy that, you know, just checked my VIN, make sure that I'm picking up the right one, but it's only the only one out of these 4 trailers that's Fontaine and drop side rail design. And I said, can you at least show me how to work with this trailer? He says, I never used the wet line before. I said, well, that makes, you know, 2 of us, because I just got mine. Sorry, it's slightly raining. I just got mine. I haven't used it either, so he couldn't help me. And one thing I see is that I'm definitely gonna add more storage compartments, you know. Thankfully there's a whole bunch of them that you can make, and I don't like these because they put 1 bar in the middle and I get 2 extra outriggers. So they put 1 bar in the middle, but this thing, even under my weight, it moves. So when I put my chains and binders, I gotta put them like this, make sure that they touch the bar in the middle, you know. I don't like this. I'll have to put some kind of a plate in here, or at least a couple of you know, metal something to reinforce this. And then but at least they're lockable. But I'll definitely make another one over here, another one. I'll make like 3 more. I need 1 more for chains, and at least 1 for timbers, because now I'm gonna be, you know, dealing with I have to block now stuff, right? But the trailer looks great. So everything is brand new, but just like they said, so outside wheels are aluminum, inside is steel. There's a ride height. I did not have this on the Kaufman. That's beautiful. See, up, down. Flag holders in here. So see, the hole here is much bigger than on the Kaufman for a much bigger pin, and that's pretty much the same dump. You have your lights in the back, flashing lights. I already connected my license plate. See, they have all the connections for the future 4th flip axle or a single axle booster. Okay, where's the switch? Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah. See, that's the switch, that's the battery, and I see the lift axle is here. See, lift axle, everything is marked. I think actually it's up because the bag is empty. Over there at least there is some air. So everything is brand new. Tires are, what is this? Oh, Yokohama. Tires are Yokohama. The massive beam, like the top one is thicker than the bottom one. But you know, with this one, oh, and I like this. See, finally I get the proper D-rings, and they all bend, so the chain will go in here. It's not gonna touch the deck. So, oh, and I asked him for extra D-rings, so I did get them. There's a box with 8 D-rings, and there's a shop in here, but these guys are too busy and they're closing like in 2 hours. But I know where I'm gonna go. I'll go, there's a Wabash, very nice guys in Canada, because my delivery is in Ontario. So right after I deliver, I'm gonna go there and spend some money there and just make myself, you know, bunch of compartments, and I'm gonna weld these, and these gonna be just like on my Kaufman. I know where they should be. Like one should be probably somewhere here or here, like one pair, and then another one somewhere here, because the excavator will sit, the you know, the tracks are 13 usually 13 feet tall. You see it does have a bucket trough, but there's no floor. So that's another thing I have to learn now, because on the Kaufman there was a floor in there, but it's pretty much the same. You just put a timber in there, right, and just drop the bucket of the machine. At least there's a bucket well, I mean boom well, and bucket trough, so it should be okay. But you see, this one has all these holes. That's why it's, I think it's gonna be lighter than Kaufman, you know, because it has all these light weight options. It's a really different trailer. Oh, but the best part, guys, I wanted to show you is this. Oh, by the way, this is different, right, from my Kaufman. On the Kaufman it was different, but the main part is this. Check this out. First of all, it has those little legs in there, which I never saw before, but the actual design, the way the gooseneck is hooked, is unbelievable. So see, there's no holes, there's no pins, it's just like one big hook and then a shaft in there, and that's what makes Fontaine trailers different. I think somebody else is also using this design, but this is so much more you know, trucker friendly, because you can hook up to this trailer on, even on the ground where you tilt it, you know. And pretty much everything, like you see, that's your ride height, and they give you, everything is here. You get 5 instead of 3 I had on the Kaufman. And this just thing, this goes like this. You have to lift the trailer, and all the instructions are here, except that these are not marked. But I know that this, usually this one operates the support frame, and this one is actually the gooseneck. And then, so first, yeah, so, oh, and that's, yeah, lock pin handle. Like on the Kaufman there was a pin over here. Here it's you have to do that. I think that's actually better, because that's mechanical, so it's safer. That you need to use that to when you're disconnecting, right? But if I'm just disconnecting from the trailer, you know, I just unhook that and then disconnect these. But I saw there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. Fontaine has their channel, and there should be a manual somewhere, I think, but no, I didn't see it. But I'm pretty sure I can download one on Fontaine website. Oh, and also cool thing is that, look at the position of the cylinders. See, they're protected, right? On Kaufman they were sitting right here, and once a guy was loading a big crate and he hit like just the outside. So you see here, they're away, and they're pulling like that way. On Kaufman they were like this, vertical. So everything is different ride height controls, different ride height positions. The trailer is totally different. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is like a real chore, is move all my stuff, like whatever I can, at least the chains. And you see, that's how I was trucking for the past 2 days. This poor garbage tote almost came unglued. It cannot handle this much weight. And I got some binders in the sleeper there, in a smaller tote. So I gotta move these, and then I gotta move these. I just put them somewhere. Just put them probably somewhere here, or maybe here. Yeah, I'll put them here, as long as they stick out, and just tie them down. So that's the plan. Yeah, move my stuff. It'll probably take me like at least an hour, and then I'm gonna go and scale the truck, and then come back and study the operation of the trailer, so I can at least hook up to it, and then I'll take it to Petro to get scaled. And look, they even have a flag holder in here. which is pretty cool. I like this trailer. It looks totally different. You know, a very thorough design. But I'm really anxious to find out the weight, because the weight is important. You know? And the first adventure is, I was unloading these. One of them slid out of my weakened hands, and I rammed into the airbag. Now the airbag is fine, but on top there's a sensor with a fitting and like a little metal part, like $5 sensor, and it broke it, and now all the air is getting out. I have no air in the suspension. But thankfully, right next to this place where I got the trailer, there's a small shop, and they say they can put a fitting in there, like a temporary fitting, just to close the leak. And they say the nearest mag dealer, there's Volvo mag dealer, just half an hour towards Birmingham, and I think I have to go there anyway because there's no highways going east here to Georgia, like no decent highways. And once I hook up to the trailer, I have to, that's where I'm going. I'm going to Volvo Mac, and we'll basically beg them to install this so that I can, because if I don't have that sensor, I can have all kinds of, you know, warning lights on the dash. The good news is that it's just a sensor, and it just plugs in. There's no screws, nothing, so it just broke. So the guy took out the front part. It looks like just a plastic hose, and that's the top of the sensor, and he has, all you have to do is just take that sensor, it like unclips, and you just go to the parts department at Mac and Volvo, like this. Even I can do. And he says get a new sensor, plug one side in here and the other side in there, and that's it. It's kind of like what's the word, it just stays there, right? It's just like all these hoses where you just, you know, connect them. They are, you know, like self-tight. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you guys. But you see this thing over there where the like new clean hose is? It's plugged in. Over there was this thing, and that's a sensor that broke, and basically all I gotta do is, so the air was leaking from there, there was no air in the suspension, and he says all I gotta do is just take this one, disconnect this one from here, the part number is here, the VIN number is here, just get a new one, plug it in here, and plug it, remove that one and plug it in here. Let's see. Yeah, the guy didn't charge me any money. I said, you guys, I can pay like with a debit card or credit card. And he looked at me, he says, you have any hundreds? I said, no. And he was just laughing. He says, it's okay. So I said, I can give you my old tank. Turns out I still had that gas tank that I was using with my Honda. I said, I can give you a decent, you can still probably use it in your shop there, like a, what is it, 5 gallon, 10 gallon, no, probably it's like 5 gallon gas tank, and those totes I brought with me, I said, you can use them, you know, for garbage somewhere, like, put some dirty rags. Okay, I just scaled the truck, so fully fueled with the new hydraulic system and PTO and no exhaust, right? Remember guys, I removed my vertical exhaust, so the truck became lighter. But I do see, I think the PTO and the wet line added about 500 pounds. So that's just the truck. I removed all the tools from inside, right? So that's the real weight, 22940 pounds, pretty much 10 tons. or 2,300 pounds roughly, right? But this is fully fueled, and that's 1050 US. So now I'm gonna hook up to the trailer and go scale with the trailer. So I managed to hook up to the trailer without using any air or hydraulics. I just dropped the suspension, and I'm gonna connect the hydraulics for the first time. I hope it works. And then I have to lift this. It's called frame jack, but there's instructions here, you know, it's all clear. So the way I'm thinking is that you gotta lift it past these, like the pin is already in. I like that. That's much more, that's safer. And then I just have to lift the trailer so I can put this on one of these. I think probably, judging from that rust in the middle, probably that's the right, typical right position over there. Right? So we'll see how it goes. For now I can hook up the air and the hydraulics. All right. And you see, that's what makes this trailer expensive. It has these. You wouldn't think that that's like a big deal, but it is, because you know it has this, so it can take a flip box, you know, and then you can see, they all have it. All Fontaine trailers have it. But yeah, oh, by the way, that's a regular one, right? With that, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing those ramps. I'm really glad that now I have this. Okay, I can just put on maybe a piece of timber underneath, because yeah, that's probably 6 inches. Might be too tall for some machines. So I'll just put those. Put a timber in here, 4 inch, no big deal. And I love this. I love this design with hooks and what do they call that thing? They call brakes, main shaft. Yeah, they call that main shaft. And main beam hooks. I know what they mean. When I asked the guy if you keep it connected, he said, well, probably you should connect it only when you need it. And yeah, you see, like, the trailer sits totally different from my old trailer. So my lines now are all in the air. And of course these are touching the deck, which is no good, but I managed to put them in. It's basically a male female, like they're the opposite, exactly like this one. We're gonna open because I closed it. We're gonna open the flow. I know I got oil in there, right? Because they ran a, what do you call it, a test. But yeah, once I lift it, I'm gonna disconnect them and just use the bungee cords in here. I don't know, they're quick connect, so it doesn't take that long. The trailer is up. Once again, it was an adventure. I hooked up, I started the PTO, I see the hoses jerking, but nothing was happening here. I will call the guy, like the seller. We call the seller. Yeah, I see. Everything looks good. We call the seller, and the seller says, because he's like an experienced guy, he sells these, right? And he says, he said basically your hoses might be reversed, you know. Okay, is this thing up or down? Okay, the airbags are, that's another potential problem, you know, when they don't fill up, right? So this is up. Okay, yeah, this is pull to lift axle. Okay, that's what I did. But it's uneven ground, so I think it's still, it's not moving yet. No, that's, I don't want to touch that. Well, the bags are full. I don't know, everything looks good. Anyway, so yeah, the hoses were reversed. So the guy over there helped me. I went inside, that's the dealer building. And I had the big wrench and he had the big wrench. And first we wanted to disconnect something here, like where they connect. But that would be messy. And so we looked here and it was just one nut. So we opened this, he opened that side, and we just swapped the hoses. And I started the PTO and everything was working like magic. But first time is always very stressful. Oh, one more thing. I gotta check. The turn signals. Okay, we are in business. But this thing, I love the massive, like the way it's designed, like all these angles in here. I have a new trailer. I spent an hour over there at the parts department. Finally got the part. The guy was going back and forth like 3 times, couldn't get the right part. So this is mine, right? That's the sensor that I broke. The guy brings me this, which the connector looks similar, right? But the actual part is different. And he said, well, I double checked, I went by this. So I said, what, they changed the design now? Oh, I don't know. $80 US. $80. I said, can somebody at least snap it in? Because I don't want to break an $80 piece of Chinese engineering. Oh, I only have 2 mechanics in here. So I went inside, gave 20 bucks to the guy to borrow his a special tool that you use to, you know, deal with these snap in, snap out connections. And it worked like a charm. Now I see my 5th wheel is working. Everything is good. We're good to go. Now all I need to do is just find a truck stop for the night, and tomorrow morning be southwest of Atlanta, Georgia, to load up my first load with this trailer. Thanks for watching. This was day 2 of my Alabama adventure.